Today we will have a problem on resolution of forces. So already in previous lectures we have seen the forces acting on a bar in which the different parallel forces downward which has been acting in downward and upward directions on a bar. We have already seen the forces acting on a bracket also. Now somewhat different concept in today's lecture we will see, that is the forces acting on a grid. So this shape, it is a rectangular grid is there. It is as good as a graph in which the horizontal distances it has been mentioned. That means the size of one square block is nothing but 1 by 1. That means along x direction it is having a dimension of 1 meters. That means the size of one block is 1 meters. What about in y direction? It is also in 1 meters. That means the size of one square block is nothing but 1 by 1 meters. So here the forces are acting on this grid in different directions. So we have to find out the resultant of the forces. So first I am reading the problem. Forces are shown in figure. Determine the resultant position where it cuts x and y axis. That means we have to find out the resultant of these three forces. That means the force is T force is there, and this 100 Newton force is there, and this 150 Newton force is there. So first we have to find out the resultant of all the three forces which are acting on in different directions on this grid. What is the size of the total size of the grid? So what is the total size of the grid along x direction? 1 2 3. That means along x direction 3 meters is the length along x direction. What about the along y direction? So 1 2 3 4. So along y direction it is having 4 meters is the distance along y directions, and 3 meters it is the distance along the x directions. Okay, so in this way this grid it has been made, and the different forces are acting on this grid. So first we have to find out the x component, that is the x component. First we will find out the x and y component. That is, first we will find out we will resolve the forces along x and y directions. Then we will find out. So in this case, first we will resolve the different forces. Here there is a vertical force. It has been acting, the T force, which is having a magnitude of 130 newtons, which is acting in downward directions. P force is also acting at a point in a grid in which it is acting in horizontal directions, 150 Newton in horizontal directions. Again there is a force inclined 100 Newton which is acting, and it is passing through the center of grid. It is passing through the origin of grid. Here O stands for origin, or it is just the alphabet, but the origin of this complete grid is this. The starting point of this grid is at this point. That means this 100 Newton will be passing through the origin of the grid. Okay? Origin of the grid. So here this dotted indicates the origin of grid. So here this 100 Newton it is acting along this origin. Okay? Again I am repeating, what is the size of the total size of the grid? In horizontal directions it is having 3 meters. In vertical direction along y direction it is having 4 meters. Okay? Again there are three different forces are acting. Vertical downward force is acting, having a magnitude of 130 newtons. Horizontal force is acting at a distance of 1 2 3 4. So this 150 Newton it is acting at a distance of 4. Okay. What about this 100 Newton? It is directly acting at the origin of the grid. Okay. So one by one, first we will find out the forces. First we will find out the x and y component of all the forces. Then we will find out the resultant, and then we will find out the important thing is where this resultant cuts x and y axis. That means we have to find out the distance of resultant with respect to x and y axis. We have to find out the distance of resultant with respect to x and y axis. Okay, that means at which location this resultant is acting on this grid. Okay, so on this grid what is the position of the resultant? Okay, whether it is in first quadrant or second quadrant or third quadrant or fourth quadrant, and what are the distances along x and y direction of this resultant. Okay, so one by one we will find out. we have to use the different principles also while solving this grid problem. We will use different principles. We will use the Varignon's theorem also in order to find out the x and y components of this resultant. So we will use the Varignon's theorem. Also we will use the principle of transmissibility. Principle of transmissibility. What this principle of transmissibility says: when a force it has been acting on a block at a point along the same line of actions, we can transfer that force at a along the same line of action, it can be transferred. Okay, so we have to use the principle of transmissibility, and we have to use the principle of that is we will use the Varignon's theorem also. Okay. So this vertical force is acting in downward directions. So there is no 130 Newton. It is not to be resolved along x and y directions because it is directly acting. 150 is also horizontal force, whereas this 100 Newton will be resolved in x and y directions. Okay. So what is the angle made by this 100 Newton? First we have to find out the angle made. So here this angle we will find out at the starting point. So here we can call this as alpha. Okay, this alpha. We will find out the angle made by this 100 Newton. So 130 is directly downward directions, 150 is horizontal, but here this 100 Newton is in inclined directions. Therefore, we will find out this 100 Newton, the inclination of the 100 Newton, or we will find out the angle made by this 100 Newton. So this alpha will be transferred here. Okay, this alpha it is making with horizontal, so we can transfer here because actually this force is acting at this, and by principle of transmissibility we are assuming it is to be acting at the origin. Okay, so actually it is acting at the end of this grid, at the corner of this grid. Okay, so this alpha to be calculated, angle made by this 100 Newton, that is alpha is the angle made by this 100 Newton with respect to x-axis. So what is the distance? So we can find out the angle with the help of the concept of tan theta. So I am writing down. First we will the concept of tan alpha. So tan alpha is equals to, what is the formula for in order to find out alpha? Opposite upon adjacent. Okay, opposite upon adjacent. Okay, so alpha is equals to tan inverse of alpha is equal to tan inverse of, here in this case what is the opposite side for alpha? The opposite is this vertical side. Okay, 1 2 3 4, so 4 meters is the opposite side. What about the adjacent side? Adjacent is, if it is making a 90 degrees here, so this dotted indicates the hypotenuse, and this x-axis indicates the adjacent side. The x-axis, how many square blocks are there? 1 2 3. What is the size? Total is 3. That means along vertical directions how many blocks are there? 1 2 3 4. And along x direction how many blocks are there? 3 blocks. 1 2 3. What is the angle made by this 100 Newton with respect to x-axis? So it comes to be 53.13. So you can calculate this angle with the help of calculator also. Okay. So alpha is equals to 53.13. That means the angle made by this 100 Newton with respect to x-axis is 53.13 degrees. Again, for simplifications, we will resolve this 100 Newton along x-axis and y-axis. That means while resolving this force along x and y-axis, so it will be resolved along x and it will be resolved along the y-axis. So as it is making an angle with x-axis, the horizontal component will be cos theta and vertical component will be sin theta. So I am assuming at this point, because this force is acting at this point, we can resolve at this point also, we can resolve at this point also. Okay, by principle of transmissibility, at both ends we can resolve. Okay, the concept is same, but here as it is acting at the topmost corner, therefore we will resolve at this point. This concept, this is nothing but 100 cos of alpha. Okay, whereas vertical component is 100 sin alpha. 100 sin alpha. Okay. So this horizontal component is cos alpha and vertical component is sin alpha. So here we have resolved this inclined force. The only one inclined force was there, so we have resolved this one force. So we will find out all the x and y components. So serial number 1. Okay. Summation of all x components. Summation of fx is equals to 1 by 1. This T 130 Newton, whether it is having x component, no, it is vertical force. Yes, 150 Newton, it is having x component. It is actually x, so it is moving right side. The right side is taken as positive, so it is moving right side, so therefore 150. Again there is 100 cos alpha, 100 cos of, instead of alpha we will find out, or we will take the value as degrees. So summation of fx, the value of fx, it comes to be 210 newtons. So summation of fx is equals to 210. So the fx, it comes to be 210. Okay. Same way y component. So number 2 serial number is summation of y component. So y component, T force is acting downward, so therefore minus 130. Minus downward indicates negative. What about this 150? It is horizontal, so therefore along y direction it will not be taken. Yes, it is having 100 sin alpha is acting upside, plus 100 sin alpha, instead of alpha we will find, write down the value as 53.130. Summation of fy, it comes to be minus 50 Newton. Okay, so in this way we have resolved the forces along x and y directions, and we have calculated summation of fx and summation of fy. Third thing is we will find out the resultant. What is the formula for resultant? That is equals to r is equals to square root of summation of all x components and summation of all y components. Okay. For that, the summation of all x components, 210 square plus minus 50 square is negative, square is always positive. Okay. R is equals to, the resultant value, it comes to be 215.87. 215.87 newtons. So it comes to be 215.87 newton. So in this way we have calculated the value of resultant. Then we will find out its x and y intercept. Before that, whether it is acting, what is the direction for this? The direction of resultant will depends upon fx and fy. Fx is positive, fy is negative. That means x component is positive and y component is negative. That means the force will be acting along the fourth quadrant. That means the resultant will act along the fourth quadrant. Why? Because fx is positive and fy is negative. Okay. What is the angle made by the resultant? So again the same concept, theta is equals to tan inverse of summation of fy summation of fx, all x component and all y components. Okay. So summation of tan inverse of fy is 50. So while finding out theta, we should not use plus and minus sign. Okay, we directly we have to divide this. So tan inverse of 50 divided by 210. So no need to use the sign while finding out the theta for the resultant. Okay, so directly we will take the value as 50 divided by 210. So the value comes to be 13.39. The value comes to be 13.39. So what is the angle made by the resultant? The angle made by the resultant is 13.39. and it is acting along in which quadrant the resultant is acting. So it will be acting along fourth quadrant. How we have decided whether it is acting in fourth quadrant? By the value of fx is positive and fy is negative. The fx is positive, yes, so this is summation of fx is positive and fy is negative. So fy is negative and this is resultant. This is the result, and the angle made by the resultant we have calculated as this theta as 13.39 theta. In this way, this resultant is acting on fourth quadrant. Okay? Fx is positive and Fy is negative, and this angle made by the resultant theta is the value as 13.39. Next thing, most important is we have to find out the x and y component. That is the what is the x and y component of this resultant. Okay? In order to find out the x and y component, simple case, simple. So this imagine this fourth quadrant resultant is acting somewhat here. Okay? This figure it is acting somewhat here. Okay? So we have to find out its x component and its y component. That means if we are assuming this resultant to be acting at this point, suppose this resultant which is acting in fourth quadrant is, we are assuming this as acting at this point. That means we have to find out its vertical distance of resultant and horizontal distance of resultant. Okay, with respect to O. So for this, finding out the distance of along y direction and along x direction of this resultant, imagine this here. So we will use the Varignon's theorems. Okay. So Varignon's theorem, when we are finding out x and y components, so we have to use the Varignon's theorem for this. Using Varignon's theorem, using Varignon's theorem. Okay, what the Varignon's theorem? So we have to decide the point from where we are finding out x and y component. So we will find out the x and y component through the origin. The origin is the base. From this base point or this origin point or this starting point, we will find out the distance of the resultant. So what the Varignon's theorem says? The Varignon's theorem says summation of moment of all forces about point O is equals to moment of resultant at that point O. Moment of that resultant at that point O. Summation of moment of all forces at a point O, that is equals to moment of resultant at point O. Moment of resultant at that point O. Moment of all forces about point O, that is the origin, is equals to moment of resultant at this point O. So we will take the moment of all forces about O. So 100 Newton, it is passing through O. That means this 100 Newton will be nullified, or it will be neglected, or it will not be taken. Why? Because 100 Newton it is passing through the origin. Yes, this 130 about point O and 150 about point O, 100 about O, this 100 will be 0. Why? Because it is passing by the principle of transmissibility. It is along the same line of actions. It is along the same line of action. The point O is along the same line of actions. 100 Newton it is acting at point O. So this 130 about O, the what is the definition of moment? The perpendicular distance. The vertical force is there. To which distance we have to take? The horizontal distance. So at point O, the distance, perpendicular distance is 1 meters, is the size of one block. How many blocks are there? 2 blocks. The distance of 130 newtons is 2. So it is making, or it is moving clockwise. कैसे move हो रहा है? Clockwise. ठीक है. So 130, first force is 130 into 2 meters. 130 into 2 clockwise. Again, what about this horizontal force? 150 newtons. Horizontal force into vertical distance. Again, the perpendicular distance. What is the definition of moment? The force and the distance should be perpendicular to each other. Okay. So here there is a horizontal force is there. So we have to take the vertical distance above point O. Okay. How many distances are there? How many blocks are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. And it is moving about O in clockwise direction. कैसा move हो रहा है? About this clockwise. So again plus 150 into 4 meters. What about this 100? The 100 will not be taken because it is along the same line of actions. Okay? That is equals to moment of this resultant which we have imagined here about this point O. Okay? Which we have imagined resultant here about this point O. So what is the value of this resultant? The value of this resultant we have taken as 215.87. Then we have to take fx and fy. Instead of resultant we will take fx and fy. So if we are imagining this at this point, I'm drawing this is summation of fy component. Imagine this is fx component. Okay, so this, while finding out the x distance, while finding out the x distance we have to take the force as y. We are taking the force as y. Y force is taking, that means we are finding out the distance as x. If we are taking the y force, that is summation of fy, that means we are finding out the distance as x. Y, the summation of fy about this point O, it will move along clockwise directions. Okay, so we will take this as, what is y component? 50 into x bar. Therefore x bar x is equals to 17.2 meters. In this way we can find out the y component also. The same thing, same way we can find out for the y component. Okay, so same Varignon's theorem will be used to find out the y component also. So for this we have taken the vertical force Fy and horizontal distance. In order to find out the y component, that is y distance, the force will be x. So fx, summation of fx into y, summation of fx into y. Why we have not taken by this minus sign? So already this downward direction indicates minus, so we have not taken this minus sign here. Okay. Again, for finding out the y distance of this resultant, again the same formula is used. So here I am writing down at this point. Yes, I'll change the color. So same concept is used, summation of moment of all forces at point O, that is equals to moment of resultant at point O. Okay, we are finding out the moment of the resultant at the point O. So again the same forces will be the same, only right hand side will be changed. Okay, 130 into 2 will be same, 130 into 2 plus 150 into 4 will be same. Only this resultant, so instead of x component we are finding out the x distance, here we are finding out the y distance. For y distance we will take the force as fx. So fx is 210. So here we will take this as 210 into its y component, y bar. 210 into y, its y component. Okay. So therefore what is the y component for this force? The y component for this force is, it comes to be 4.09 meters. It comes to be 4.09 meters. The y component, after simple division concept, 130 multiplied by 2 plus 150 multiplied by 4 divided by this 210, after addition divided by this 210, the y component, it comes to be 4.09 meters. 4.09 meters. That means the x component for this resultant, it comes to be, here we have x component as 17.2 and y component as 4.09. That means x, along this x direction, it is far away from this grid, and along y direction again it is beyond this here. So here it's somewhat, here the resultant is acting. Okay, here the resultant will be acting because y distance is also beyond 4 meters and x distance is beyond 3 meters. That means far away from the grid, here at somewhat point this resultant will be acting. Okay, so in this way, while finding out the x and y component of resultant, we have to use the Varignon's theorem. Left hand side will be same, right hand side, while finding out x, we have to take the summation of fy. While finding out the y component, y distance, we have to take summation of fx. Only these two things it is to be taken care. Rest left hand side is same, the summation of moment of all forces about point A, this concept is same. Okay, so in this way, in today's lectures we have covered the problem related with the grid, in which the three forces were acting and in different directions, and we have calculated the resultant of all the three forces, and we have calculated the x and y intercept of this resultant along x and y axis. Okay, the intercept or the distance of this resultant along x and y directions. Okay, so here we will end this today's lectures. Thank you.